Hello everybody, how are you? Happy Friday, and first of all we just want to start off this week's episode of Domain TV by saying Happy New Year, a huge welcome to the beginning of 2025, which is set to be another beautiful and even better and more glorious year. So sending you all so much love. Hope you all enjoyed seeing the new year in and celebrating it, however it was that you did that. And we're just so happy to get started today with the first episode of Domain TV of 2025. Hi Benita, darling, lovely to see you. So the sun is shining here today in the UK. I have a bit of a sore throat. And so one of the things we're going to do today is to receive some live sequencing. And what I thought would be really good is to go over the exercise in the Domain book, Our World, What Comes Next, to go through it live with you, because I'm going to be doing some live receiving for sequencing around my throat. And we thought this would be a really lovely way, sorry, to start off, I guess, all the excitement for the new year, showing me receiving live sequencing and just how you never know where that sequencing is going to come from. So often when I'm connecting into Domain, I'm getting sequencing from around the multiverses. It's so wondrous. So I'm going to do some live receiving on this as well. And likewise, if you want to tune in to Domain and do some live receiving for any sequencing that feels good to you, please leverage the energetics from within this video and do so as well, and join me. You're not expected to do sequencing to sort out my throat. I'll do that, but you may want to practice sequencing yourself, and you can always practice it in exercise 7 in the book as well. So that's one of the things we're going to be speaking about. The second thing we're going to be looking at is just, I guess, our plans and aspirations and excitement for the beautiful year ahead, because gosh, Domain brings so much beauty, as we know, and we really want to continue to just spread the word, to build awareness around it, but most importantly, to help as many people as we can to also explore Domain, delight in it, experience the wonder and enlightenment of it, because for me, myself, I cannot imagine my world without Domain. And actually, when we think about the name of the book, Our World, What Comes Next, of course, there's that real planetary angle, but also it's about our own individual worlds as well. The word world means so much, and Domain can fulfill our worlds so beautifully that there are loads of people out there waiting to hear about Domain and waiting to discover it so they can start their own journeys of wonder with Domain as well. So that's something we're really going to be just loving doing throughout the whole of this year. And then we have a beautiful new offering that we'll be talking about as well that is now available, beautiful one-to-ones. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about those as well. So there's so much good, so much deliciousness, as always with Domain. And we just want to invite you to snuggle down, because it is cold if you're in the UK. I've got the lovely toasty heater on, I've got a lovely cup of coffee. Snuggle down, get comfortable, and just enjoy everything that we're going to be sharing in today's episode. So, okay, let's get started with some live sequencing. So as most of you know now, and if you don't and you're new, the book explains everything that you need to know, but I'm going to give you a little bit of insight now, is that Domain works with energy sequences, and how it works is it stores energy sequences across all that is. And so now, as we're energetically evolving and expanding, us humans can consciously and proactively receive energetically from Domain energetic sequences to help us. So think about cures and solutions and possibilities and opportunities that extend way beyond our immediate surroundings on our earth. Imagine being able to connect into Domain, as I'm about to shortly, to say, right, I want something to fix my throat. I don't want to go to the chemist. I don't really want to personally put stuff into my body that's not natural. Actually, Domain stores energy sequences across all that is. It has energy sequences that us physical humans don't even consciously know of yet. What's Domain going to flow me? I don't have to go to chemist. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to buy anything. I can literally just connect into Domain and get the sequencing to sort my throat out. How amazing is that? And we're talking about possibilities beyond our Earth. We're talking about more than just working with energies. We're talking about sequences that we can recreate energetically here on Earth to aid us. And this is one of the key ways to work with domain that I flipping love. And for me, myself, it's really interesting, just in terms of healing perspective. I never really wanted to be a kind of traditional healer. It just didn't light me up. And I guess probably because, as I've said before, my journey was always supposed to be very much connected to domain. And I love the way domain works because it can bring incredible healing opportunities, like incredible healing possibilities and opportunities. But beyond sort of traditional energy healing, we're talking about sequences, creating new on Earth, because domain can show us the new that we can create and recreate based on energy sequences elsewhere in our multiverses. So it's really, really exciting. You don't have to be like someone that really understands the human body if you're using it for healing. You know, domain has answers for everything. And what I love about it is that it's high level. You don't have to go complex with it, but boy, oh boy, can you leverage the incredible power of it. So sequencing is going to be what we're going to be doing today live. I'm going to be doing, as I've just said, some live receiving of sequencing for my throat, just to show you how I personally work with domain and why I flipping love it. So if you'd like to join in, you absolutely can, but no pressure if you just want to sit back and listen. What I am going to do is firstly read this chapter, and then I'm going to do it, okay? So exercise 7, help from domain for something important to you. And that's the key. When you're asking domain for sequencing, it's got to be really true and important for you. And again, this brings me to the point of why we believe that we want to just help everybody use domain within their own rights, because domain isn't just for a select few. Everyone can learn how to work with it. And rather than kind of a select few who can work with domain and then everybody comes to them for answers and solutions, if everybody can just use domain themselves, everybody can just tap into the answers and solutions themselves as well. So it has to be something that's important to you. And so what you'll notice is over time, as you're working with domain energetics, if others that you know of are interested, flow them to the book or flow them to me here, because I'll be able to help them to expand their energy with domain so they can use it in the ways that they want also. Because what you'll find is over time, if you're getting lots and lots of people coming to you asking like for things like healing with domain, it's not going to be your truth actually always, because you're going to have other things that you want to use domain for. And also, as we've always said, we're not here to kind of be energetic workhorses, so to speak. We're here to use domain in the way that's true for us and lights us up. And so if everyone can use domain, everyone can use it in the way that's right for them and in the way that's true for them. So back to what I was just saying, when you're connecting into domain for sequencing, it has to be something that's truly important for you. Don't ever be tuning in from an obligation energy. That's even when we're talking about things environmental. They've got to be things that light you up. Otherwise, you're not going to get the flows from domain. But think how loving that is. Like, it's only going to work for you if it's something that's really true and important to you. It's going to cut out all energetic wasteland. It's going to really just conserve your energy in a beautiful way. And it's going to bring you answers and solutions for those things that are true and important for you personally. Okay, so in this exercise, supported and boosted by the energetics of this book, ask domain to help you with something that is important to you. So today, for me, it's going to be my throat. You will have most likely already had a first practice run at this in chapter 39, for those of you that have the book. But this time, when you ask domain to help you with something for you personally, as opposed to environmentally or globally, as the opportunity for this will come shortly in another exercise, make sure that it is really important to you, and really important in a loving way, not really important in a kind of panicky or fearful way, just in a really loving way. Because when you work with domain with hope, love and belief, it will flow evidence and outcome and results, okay? So it's got to feel really important to you in a good way, not in a panicky way, okay? Because you want your energy to be really balanced and you want it to be a loving truth for you, because domain's all about working with love, okay? It could be to do with your body or work or day-to-day life, for example. It could be anything. And make sure that you have tons of conviction and also belief when you ask. Know that domain delivers. And when it delivers the sequencing, it's going to feel really enlightening and expansive. And every time I receive sequencing from domain, I'm like, I feel the buzz, I feel the love, I feel like elevated, I flipping love it. It's beautiful, okay? So have tons of conviction and also belief. And then lots of alertness, and allow plenty of time with no rush to receive the sequencing that domain wants to flow to you. So I receive sequencing quite slowly generally, and I think it's because I really love to understand and kind of see in my mind's eye and get a sense of where it's coming from, because I love the wonder of it. I don't ever want to rush it. I savour in everything that domain shows me, because that's part of delighting in it and the wonderment of it. The fact it's going to show us things that are beyond, I know I'm going to get something that's beyond my conscious awareness today. And that's so exciting. So I love to really take my time with it, but others receive more quickly. A reminder of an example that I experienced myself as I wrote in chapter 1 to help you. So one simple example, and a personal one to me, is that I heavily kicked my shin against the sharp corner of my bed 2 days before I had to go to a wedding, and I did not want a glaring bruise on my leg as I was wearing a dress where it would be seen. I had no immediate physical aid, such as arnica cream, widely known to many for its healing and bruise reducing qualities. And so instead of rushing out to the shops, in this moment I connected to domain with tons of conviction and strong intention to prevent this bruise from developing, and I asked what it could show me to remove the bruising. As I let myself receive the answer, which came in the flow of understanding that I could translate and see in my mind's eye, I was shown an algae-type formation on another planet within our own multiverse, and I was able to energetically and non-physically gather this sequencing from domain and then recreate it around my bruise on my leg and keep it in place there for 24 hours. The results were truly staggering. Normally, I would get an immediate dark purple bruise, as I had kicked my shin against my bed many times before. That would last for days, but 24 hours later, it was barely visible. This was probably the first time that I really used domain myself with this much conviction, and the results were astonishing and utterly evident. So you can ask domain to flow you sequencing for anything that is really important to you. It doesn't have to be body related, and in fact your higher self might help and show you what you can ask if you would like their help and support. You only need to ask them. You might want to save this exercise if nothing is coming up immediately to mind right now, knowing that it's always here for you to use and that it will always leverage the energetics of this chapter to aid you when you are ready. And that's the other thing. Go to domain when you really feel you want to go. Connect when you really feel you want to. I wouldn't be connecting to domain about my throat today if it wasn't my truth to and it didn't feel really good to. So likewise, you may be listening to this and think, actually, I'm not in the right energy today, or there's nothing that's really coming up that's true and important for me. That's okay. You can use this exercise again whenever you like and re-listen to this video whenever you like as well. One final thing to say here is that my personal example of a bruised shin, this sequencing that I received was quick and fast. However, in other examples, I have received sequencing phases. So with that particular example with my shin, it like literally 96% resolved it, just that one flow of sequencing. I could have done a bit more sequencing the next day, but it wasn't my truth to. There was a very slight yellowing left, but I was happy with that. Okay, but you might find you get sequences. So when I've done healing for myself or others or my spiritual companion, or I've used domain in other ways, like for my body or other things that are more environmental, there's often been phases. And what we mean by that is don't always expect domain sequencing to occur fully and to complete the entire outcome that you're wanting in just one go. Often there are phases, particularly with longer term focuses and changes, such as I described in my own personal example of using domain for my overall body. Also with the case of eradicating the spread of malaria, that was another example that we've spoken about in this book where there are phases. And it's about right time as well. These two examples definitely require ongoing phases of sequences to build upon previous ones. And again, you'll get nudged as to when to do this, okay? So this is the beauty of domain. It will always give you more and take you further as needed and wanted. So you may find in this exercise that you receive that there will be more phases to follow, and when they are required, you will naturally feel the wanting to tune back into domain to get the next phase. So when your energy feels good, really take your time with this and enjoy, and record what you experience on the blank section below and on the next page. So for those of you that have your book, you know in the workbook section at the back, there's blank sections for you to record your experiences and wondrous early interactions with domain. Okay, so hopefully that's all clear. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tune in now to domain for my throat. And if you want to tune in for something, please go for it. I'm going to share with you live what I'm getting and experiencing and seeing and understanding, so that you can get a sense of how domain works, because for some of you, you never will have done this before. So this is going to be really beautiful for you to kind of see it happening live. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm feeling alert. I'm just going to have a quick sip of coffee. It's my truth. I feel a loving conviction and knowing and belief is really key. Knowing and belief that domain is going to flow me something that's going to remedy my throat. And I don't need to figure out what it is. So stay away from logical thinking. Stay away from things like, oh, I know that honey can soothe my throat and stuff like that. Literally be really open, because domain will flow you much, much, much more than beyond the remedies that we are currently aware of, okay? So, what I do is I just feel myself connect to domain, and it's kind of two-way. I feel my energy non-physically sort of go to it. Obviously, I physically stay here, but I can kind of feel my energy non-physically going to it, and it's located beyond our multiverses, so I sort of just feel the connection to it that way, but also I just feel it very much around me. So I sort of feel like I'm going to it, and then I'm sort of in it, and it's very much around me, and I never rush this bit. This bit is absolutely delicious. Hi Emma darling, we're just doing some live domain sequencing if you'd like to have a little go with us, or you can watch the replay, of course. So I just really enjoy just that settling in, because I actually haven't connected to domain for sequencing for a good few days, because we've been busy with Christmas and New Year and hosting. So it's nice just to really sort of settle. And again, why would you rush this? This is enlightened living. This isn't just rushing through stuff and tick boxing stuff. This is like, oh my gosh, drinking it all up because it feels amazing. And now I'm going to ask domain, flow me whatever you've got, whatever you want to show me, to get rid of my sore throat. And then what happens with me is I kind of get a sense of starting to transverse myriad. And for those of you that know domain well, you're going to know that myriad works hand in hand with domain. Domain stores the sequencing, but myriad is an energetic network that goes across all that is. You can kind of energetically transverse. So again, your feet stay on the ground, but I get a sense of moving as I'm transversing, even though I'm obviously physically sat still. And I don't really know where I'm going. I'm just allowing. And often for me, the first thing I get is a sense of colour, which is I'm starting to sort of get now. It's like a brownie colour. I still don't know what it is, where this sequencing is, what this sequencing is, but I'm getting a sense. So I'm just going to keep allowing. So it feels a bit earthy, but it's not Earth on our planet. And this is the wonder. It's Earth somewhere else. And again, because I've practiced working with domain for so long and receiving for so long, I just get a knowing that it's not on Earth, it's elsewhere. And this is quite a light brown earthy colour. So if you think about mud, definitely where I live in the UK, it's very dark. And I know there's different coloured earths around the globe, like the desert and like Ayers Rock in Australia, they can all be different colours. But this I'm being shown to is quite a light brown. And it feels like the temperature is warm, so it's somewhere warm, but it's definitely not on Earth. And actually it's quite an arid landscape. I'm not seeing any plants or vegetation, although there are plants and vegetation on other planets. Domain's showing me this over and over, and again, this is beautiful to understand. Nothing to be fearful of, it's just beautiful. Helps us kind of know our place amongst all that is more and more the more we work with Domain. This is quite arid, and it's not arid as in like a desert would be on our planet, like intensely hot. It feels warm, not intensely hot. It feels airy, but there's just no plant life around that I can see. I can see the colour of the sky is slightly yellow. It feels like if I was there physically and my eyes were open, it would feel kind of fresh. This is how Myriad simulates. It's flipping amazing. You feel like you're literally there. Okay, now what I'm being connected to is the air. It's the property of air, the properties of the air in that place that are now helping my throat. And so what's happening is Domain is gathering that sequencing of that air, and it's recreating it around my throat for me now. And this air feels like, it's really interesting how it feels. Or the sense, you know, the knowing that I'm getting around how it feels. It's like it's got a gentleness to it. It's clean and it's fresh, but it's gentle because it's got that warmth. Yeah, it's such a soothing, gentle property to the air. So I'm sensing this is a planet that I'm not being shown any life on the planet that I'm being shown now. Okay, this is really interesting as well. It's not a moon, but it could be. So this is really interesting because if you think about other solar systems in other universes, they're all going to be different. So I'm not getting there's been any life here in the past. I'm not getting there'll be any life here in the near future. It's part of the solar system, but it's not a moon. This is so fascinating for wherever we are. And I don't drill down much deeper than this. I don't go into what is the name of this planet, what is the name of this universe, because I don't really need to. But I can feel the take on of that sequencing of that air and the warmth. Right, let me just see, because often Domain will flow me various things. This is known as multiple sequencing. So this isn't just from one source, which is singular sequencing. I can feel there's something else that wants to flow to me. So that sequencing around the air is still occurring. And I'm being given a sense that's going to be placed there for about a week, actually. Really interesting, because it's not only going to get rid of the sore throat, it's actually going to share more with me beyond that my body's wanting in terms of sequencing. How amazing. So again, I would not be able to get whatever these things are, properties, vitamins, nutrients, I wouldn't be able to get them on Earth, but I can get them because Domain's recreating them. So there's other things that my body's wanting at the moment, getting a sense it's slightly run down after the Christmas and New Year holidays. Okay. So that's going to be here for about a week. Right, let me just see, so I can feel myself sort of almost transversing Myriad again. I'm not rushing out of this though. This is, again, what I find really important. Don't rush out of it. So I can still feel the take on of that sequencing from that air. And I'm going to let that take on. I'm not going to rush out of it. And this is why I say sometimes sequencing can take half an hour or so, because you're literally absorbing the full take on of that sequencing. And over time, in the future, as we expand more and more, that might get quicker, but I still love it because for me, it's so tangible and I can then feel the evidence of it. It doesn't feel like airy-fairy and out of reach. When you're kind of sitting with Domain, you're receiving everything it's sharing, there's a real tangibleness to it that I haven't experienced from any other modality. And I've done a lot energetically, okay? There's a real tangibility with Domain. Now I'm being shown something yellow, but this feels different. Okay, this is actually the sun. I'm being shown the sun that's shining on this planet. Okay, going closer to the sun now, and actually taking some sequencing from that sun that's more concentrated. So it's not just the air on this planet, it's now something about this sun. And properties within this sun are really healing for my throat. This is just mind-blowing. I love it. Love it. So again, I'm just taking this on. My own energy is naturally gathering the sequencing from this sun and just recreating it, and I can feel it reaching to my ears and my head, because I have had a bit of a weird head and ears the last few days. But also now my whole body, but now focusing more again on my throat. And so I'm not super close to the sun, so don't think about being really close to the sun as you would potentially might imagine being really close to the sun for our planet. It would obviously burn you. I'm not super close to it, but close enough to take the sequencing from the sun directly. Because it's a gentle sun. Okay, so what I'm being shown now, it's a gentle sun, and this is why it felt a gentle like air and a gentle warmth. So again, I'm just sitting with it, not rushing out of it. This feels very potent, actually, this particular energy sequencing from this sun. Like it's doing a lot for my throat. So whereas the air felt gentle, but still important, this is feeling really like powerful, what it can do. It's not too much though. Okay, and actually now I can physically feel a sense of soothing, and that's unusual for me to physically feel a relief in the moment when I'm using domain, but that's what I'm being shown here. Again, this is amazing, really feeling the soreness reduce down. This is amazing, like live and in real time. So it's like if you would imagine taking a throat lozenge, that's the right way to say it, how you would get that relief. But obviously I'm not doing that. I'm just taking the sequencing from this sun, wherever it is. It is in our multiverse, I'm being told. And I can just really feel it working and going deeply into the areas that are sore and taking that soreness away and eradicating it is the word I'm getting. Oh, that's amazing. Just going to sit here and just enjoy that sequencing for a bit, because again, you don't want to rush out of this. If you're going to make the conscious decision to connect into domain, you literally want to take every droplet of sequencing that it's giving you, because it's going to give you everything you need that's right for you. And if another reviewer connecting into domain with the sore throat, you'd get something completely different, because domain will always flow you what's exactly right for you. We're all different. We all have different energetic needs as well as physical needs. Everyone would always get something different, and that's what's beautiful as well. Oh, I can feel this sun just continuing to do what it needs to do. Now, normally, if I wasn't doing a live, I would just sit here and just enjoy this, keep my eyes closed, keep taking that sequencing in a very kind of deliberate and conscious way. I am being shown almost like a rebuilding of certain things around my throat area. And again, I don't need to go into the detail. I don't need to understand what all these body parts are called. All I need to do is allow the sequencing. It's so simple, but so powerful. But there is some regeneration, regrowth occurring is what I'm being given. And repair. Inflammation going down. Head clearing as well. Just getting a sense it's going to tell me how long this is going to be taking on for, because if you've read the book, you'll know that a myriad targets, so it can target sequencing to where it's needed. So where I've got the sequencing of the air for the next 7 days, myriad targets it and it harbours it there. So it like harbours the energy sequencing there in that place. Again, think of energetic efficiency. It's not flowing sequencing from that air to the whole house or to the whole earth. It's just flowing it to my throat where it's actually needed. so energy efficient. But just with the sun, I'm just getting a sense of how long it's going to keep flowing as well. Okay, this is really interesting. So this sun sequencing feels like it's going to stay permanently. And I've never received that before, I don't think either. How fascinating. Yeah, permanently. Cool. I'm just going to get a sense of why. Because obviously it's not typical for me to have a sore throat. Why not? Is Domain's answer. Why not take the sequencing from that incredible sun? If it's something that can really help my body overall for the rest of my life, why just not harbour it there permanently? Apparently that's what I'm wanting. So this is the other thing to understand is Domain will always flow you what is needed based around your truth. And that could be consciously or unconsciously, because we're doing loads of stuff unconsciously as well. So we could be asking for things at an unconscious level. But when we connect with Domain, oh gosh, I can just feel some stuff going on in my throat. This is amazing. And I also would just like to say, for any of you that are new or still building belief in like your leverage of energetics, I've never been someone that feels really strongly. I remember I used to like tune into healing sessions where I was being healed, and it would be like a group thing, and I would get people messaging me afterwards going, oh my gosh, did you feel that? That was amazing. And I'd be like, no, I don't feel anything, because the way I receive is cognitive, so it's very knowing, and it's very, very, very subtle. So the feelings are actually subtle, and I've just become very tuned to them. So when I can say I'm feeling a lot today, it's because I'm so tuned to every tiny nuance in my body when I'm working in receiving in a non-physical way in this way. And I can just feel there's a lot going on in my throat and chest. It's incredible. Really interesting. So it's almost like an opening up. I'm just trying to understand a little bit more about why I'm being given this like in a permanent way. Again, Domain just keeps saying, why not? We've got access all areas with Domain. It's energy efficiency. It's based around my truth. It's really going to bring me to even more optimum health and optimal health. And it doesn't mean I won't ever get cold again, but it's like the overall health of my body. Really fascinating. And therefore also helping with my receiving even more. Really fascinating. So as you can see, and I'm not rushing this, I'm really taking my time, I'm allowing it all. You just don't know what Domain's going to show you. Right, I'm just getting this one last thing. You'll get a sense with this the more you do it. There's one last thing that will almost bring this to completion. Because you want to stay with Domain until it's flowed everything that you need and you feel a sense of completion. Because again, A, it feels amazing, but B, you'll feel the tangibility of it and you never want to rush out of it. So if you were to get interrupted, don't panic, but you can always come back and finish off what you started. So there's just something third I can feel that's flowing. Again, I can feel that sense of transversing myriad a bit. Being shown red. Feels a bit like poppies, but I don't think it is. The flower poppies. Okay, it's their roots going down into the soil. So this is earth focused. Oh gosh, this is fascinating. So you think about poppy roots or any plant roots and how they grow out, don't they? I'm being shown the sequencing around those roots as they're growing. So this isn't, so it's not about just pulling a physical poppy out of the earth and getting, like, literally eating the roots if you were going to do it physically. This is beyond what you could do physically with poppies, is what I'm being told. So that there's something about the chemical setup, the chemical reactions that are occurring here as those roots are growing and extending down. There's like a magic in that energy of that growth, and there's sequencing, of course, behind that magic, because nothing happens without sequencing going on around it, is what I'm being told. And so it's that point at the very end of the roots where they're growing, that kind of slight buzzy, magic-y energy that's being shared. It's got almost like a slight fizz to it if I were to try and describe how it's feeling, that sequencing being shared. And this is going through just through all the nerves in my throat. Again, just high level understanding. I don't need to go much deeper than that. And all the cells and just working their magic. Because if you think about the magic of root growth, or the magic of everything on our earth, but if you were focusing into the root growth of poppies, there's so much magic there and new that's occurring. And so that is being shared in my throat as well. And that, okay, now I can feel that's bringing it to a completeness. And that will just stay for the next few hours. And that's not going to sort of harbour for very long. And again, I can feel the physical. Often I don't feel the physical resolving of things this quickly, but I guess with this particular instance I can. Yes, I'm being told that's everything. So you'll get to a point where you just know that you're complete. You've got everything that you need, and then you can just let go your connection and crack on with your day. Sometimes you will get guided physical things to do as well, like drink water, like move in a certain way, go do certain things. I know, and I've done stuff for my spiritual companion Belle, my pet dog. I've been told to get homeopathic things to support as well, because remember, we are physical, so we can still leverage the physical things we have access to. But as you've just seen in that live example, there's a lot of energy. Like what I've just been shown is beyond what I could do normally as a physical human. So somewhere else in our multiverse, even somewhere on Earth, taking properties that we wouldn't be able to extract physically, but we can energetically. And this is the power of domain, and this is how wondrous it is. And when you've done it and it feels complete, then you feel that high and elevation afterwards, and that's what I'm feeling now. And I can feel it slightly still running behind the scenes as I continue this live, because I don't want to spend another sort of 10-15 minutes kind of just completing it, but I can feel it is completing, and that's all I need to do, and I'll feel a difference by the end of the day. How amazing is that? Like, it should be fully gone by the end of the day is what I'm being told. How amazing is that? And in this situation, that's all been done just in one session with domain. As we've just said, on other times you're connected to domain, you might get phases of sequencing. And again, that's beautiful, because if you're wanting to create ongoing change, say around your body or around your home or around your garden or whatever it is, there could be phases, and that's really, really beautiful. So wondrous. Okay, so a bit of live sequencing there, just so you guys can see how I do it. You know, over the coming year, there will be people that are new to energetics, that are discovering domain. And just to see how I do it, I think is really helpful and just kind of demystifies it. But of course, anyone that works with me, I'll support you through this and help you become really, what's the right word, adept at receiving the sequencing and feeling really comfortable in it yourself. And also for some of you, if this is completely new, you might be a bit like, no, is this actually true? But having done this so much myself, I know that it is, because I then get the evidence afterwards as well. So, so much wonder. And again, if you are new to domain energetics, I know we keep saying it, but this has been written because it is the perfect place to start. And then beyond that, we have our School of Domain Energetics, which brings me on to a new offering that we have for 2025, which is really exciting for any of you now or in the future that are watching this, that have read the book and actually you want to really adopt everything you've learned from that book and bring it to life in your day-to-day, okay? And so I'm now offering beautiful one-to-ones. These are 6 weeks of working directly with myself privately, so no one else, just you and I, over a 6-week period, where we have 6 weekly 1-hour Zoom calls and then voice message support Monday to Friday, where I literally am going to help you bring everything you've learned in the book to life. And you can pick the different elements, because there's so many different things we speak about in the book. There might be certain things you're drawn to. You can pick the things you want to focus on, or a particular area you want to focus on. It might be your body, it might be something that's more, you know, that has an environmental side as well. Whatever it is that lights you up, you can work with me one-to-one over 6 weeks to really feel confident and adept and at ease, and to really feel, experience and benefit from the wonder that domain can bring into your life every single day. And so by the end of this 6-week one-to-one period, you're going to really feel comfortable, confident, excited, wonder-filled at your own capability and prowess with domain as well. So if you want to have a look and find out more about this, you can find information on my website, sarahmorganglobal.com. It's on the homepage. These are available as of now for any of you. And this is for those of you that are really, you're discovering domain, you're lit up by it, you have like a curiosity about it and a wonder about it and a passion about it, and you just want that kind of loving guiding hand plus a whole heap of fun as well as love along the way as you're starting to feel really comfortable with domain and starting to feel really pressful with it. Because as we always say, domain's yours for life. And one of the things we love about the School of Domain Energetics is once you've done any work with us, you're kind of set up for life. That's it. You're kind of free to keep using domain in the way that you want. And so these beautiful one-to-ones are going to give you that kind of wonderful 6-week space and time with me, and I guess energetic container with me where you can just practice and share. You'll be able to trust in what you're receiving really confidently, because when you're really new to receiving as well, you kind of, I think, need someone going, yeah, that's correct, or yes, that's correct, but actually there's also a bit more. You want that kind of reassurance and that loving steer, especially when what we can receive from domain, that's because of what we've just done, what we can receive from domain is so pioneering and beyond our earth and beyond our conscious awareness. You know, what I've been shown today in terms of that planet, I didn't even know it was there. But if you think about this endless planet, it's out there as well. So like to have that kind of really safe, loving space where it's just 6 weeks of wonder, exploration, you're in my loving, safe hands, and you're getting really comfortable with it, because we want to empower everybody to feel like you can really use domain perfectly for whatever it is you're wanting to use it for. It's not complex. This is the thing. If you think about what domain does behind the scenes, drawing sequencing, of course, that sounds complex, but as a physical human using it, it is not complex. It's simple and it's beautiful in its simplicity, and it's incredibly powerful in its simplicity, and every single person can learn how to work with domain. And again, this is why we've written the book. This is why the school's here. This is why I'm going to keep talking about it with so much passion, because everyone can use domain. It's just about getting comfortable and learning how to use it correctly. And once you know, you're off and you've got it for life, and it will never get boring. It will never get dull. It will always show you more, because there's endless out there for it to show us. Plus, we're always expanding as the multiverses that we are. So there's always new, like it's never going to run out. And so these beautiful one-to-ones are here for any of you that are kind of just loving the book and just wanting to really get confident in using domain for yourself as well. You know, you don't have to have any experience with energetics at all. In fact, if you have none, that could be really perfect, because you're going to come, we'll do these one-to-ones together, and you're going to literally be able to just learn every step of the way. I'll share everything that you need to know with you in such a loving way. I'm very nurturing when I work with people. I flipping love it. So you're going to feel that love, and you're going to really feel your confidence build and build. And so you don't have to have any experience with energetics whatsoever. These can be for like complete beginners when it comes to working with non-physical and working with energetics. You can be a complete beginner, and this is what these one-to-ones are designed for, to help you. Okay, so these are going to be available now. Any questions, let me know. If you're a bit in two minds about whether to do a beautiful one-to-one, you can also book a free exploration call with me as well. That's available to book through the website as well. We're here to support and love you, but these beautiful one-to-ones are going to really help you get off of the ground with using domain and experiencing all of its wonder and delight and beauty in your day-to-day as well. So they're now available. And then the other thing we just wanted to say is as well, of course, 2025, gosh, so many new possibilities, probabilities, opportunities, so much new. It really truly feels like it's going to be a really beautiful year, especially with what we're doing here as well. Domain's all about beauty and exploration and voyaging and incredible, endless new possibilities and opportunities. It's just all about that. And so there's a real lightness that is being shared energetically, you know, a real lightness in terms of beauty and discovery and possibilities on our earth, especially through what we're doing here through Sarah Morgan Global and Domain's Wondrous Energetics. And so it's going to be a year of beauty. We have our first ever Domain event that's taking place in Alfriston here in the UK in the summer, in August. So again, information about that is on the website. So that's still several months away. But for those of us that are loving Domain, just to come together, hang out, spend the day together in beautiful surroundings, it's just going to be absolutely wondrous. And, you know, many of you here on this page have been working with energetics for a long time or have been following myself for a long time. What's going to happen is over the coming months, we're going to continue to share awareness about Domain. So those that have never even touched energetics before can discover Domain and start to work with it. They're not just going to have a book to read and that's it. They're going to have this book to read, but then they're going to be able to work with me one-to-one if they want to as well, or longer term in broader group programs as well, because we just want everyone to feel really comfortable and confident and empowered and just enjoying every single thing that they're doing with Domain as well. So this continued year will just be about inviting new audiences and new people to start interacting with Domain as well, surrounding the core souls of you here that have been incredible and have been here for a long time as well. So it's a beautiful flourishing out of new. Obviously we've got the School of Domain Energetics, which is here for that as well. We've got the book, we've got everything here. We've got our beautiful Domain leaders who, again, I cannot thank enough because they have been incredible as well, energizing the early foundations of Domain, and they're going on to use it in the ways that light them up and that they're passionate about as well. There's so much good. And of course, we've got Pathway to Thrive. Anyone that works with me directly through the School of Domain Energetics to really kind of become adept and pro-esser with Domain, will be invited into that Facebook group, and again, such a beautiful and flourishing community there. So this year definitely feels like a very flourishing year in lightness, simplicity, beauty, wonder, enlightenment, us using Domain for us and ourselves first and foremost, and then if we want to start using it for environmental things, of course, the opportunity is there. But it's about really delighting in it. And I know we've always said Domain's here to be delighted in, delight in Domain, but that's what we're going to continue to say this year and forevermore, because I've always believed energetics don't need to be hardcore and heavy and complex. They can be amazing and wondrous and powerful, but in a really easy to use way. And that's how also we're going to be able to help Domain start rippling out to more broader audiences and a more wider reach. And I guess kind of more en masse, not en masse like overnight, and not en masse where we're compromising on quality, but like it is here to be used in a much more mainstream way. So you precious souls that have been here over the last year and a half or so, we thank you and we love you so much for this. But now it's about widening out because it does have a more mainstream angle to it. And this is why we spent the time learning about it, writing the book, getting all of these things in place, starting off the School of Domain Energetics last year, like in November time. It's like now we're ready to really flourish. And so we're really, really excited for that. Okay, my darlings. So we love you so much scrumminess to come. Keep delighting in Domain. Honestly, it is an utter joy to work with it. It's an utter joy to have you guys here. Just keep enjoying, exploring, relishing, to live your human experience, knowing that there's so much more out there that we can now reach, that's beyond physical earth, that we can now learn about and savor in, that's beyond our immediate surroundings. I mean, it's just beautiful. You've got it for life. This is the thing. Who knows what we're going to be seeing in like 5, 10, 20 years time through it. It's incredible and it's endless and it's beautiful. So we love you. Keep enjoying. We will be back again next week for episode 14. We love you so much. Have a beautiful weekend and a beautiful week ahead, and we will see you again next Friday. We love you. Mwah.